What's up, guys? You are listening to the Touge Hour podcast. My name is Wade Best, owner of 129 Touge, and joining me are some of the area's most known individuals in the mountain pass scene. Here we discuss the presence of US 129's Touge scene and the endless changing cycle of motorsport-related news. Real quick before the podcast starts, huge shout out to our sponsors, Touge Motorsports, for your parts and fluid needs to keep your Touge car on the mountain pass. Eurospec LLC here in Louisville, Tennessee for your European automotive needs, and Douglas James Smith, Doug Spec alignments. JZilla Track Days, come join us on the track with Atlanta's premier HPD organization, and Carbon Candy for your full carbon aerodynamic parts needs. Thank you guys for tuning in and hope you enjoy the episode. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Touge Hour. If you hear some mics buzzing, that's probably because our mics are failing, and I don't think it's all ours. I think it's Doug's down there. Sick! I tried messing with it a little bit. Doug may be a little quiet tonight, but his opinion's going to be super loud because it's about tires. God, we are such nerds, but yeah. So a lot of people jump into a tire, right? You have your 200 treadwear tire, and a lot of people don't know how to properly heat cycle, whether that be 200 to 340 to 100. You just kind of go in it, get your fresh set on. You want to be hot as shit, and then hey, my tires are purple and corded, so
I'll be the first one to tell everybody. First thing you do, you get a 200 treadwear, so you just go out there and you drive 11 tenths. Right up
Fat skid.
Yeah, just full send. They don't need to cool off for 24 hours.
Cue the Dr. Seuss, hang in there.
They don't need to cool off for 24 hours. You don't have to do just cold tires, full send, see what happens.
And that's the episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys. Yep.
No, but tonight, like I said on last week's episode, we are rotating people around. You may have heard somebody giggle in the background, and Austin's. Yeah, you actually can. I wouldn't be close to the mic though. No. So, but yeah, we'll start out with the people that weren't here last week. We have Austin Simons, our JZilla instructor, Miata hero, Miata, not even boy or man, Miata hero.
How's it going, guys?
Welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks.
Good to have you.
It's been a minute.
I like your McDonald's that you brought in earlier.
Yeah.
Should we tell them?
My McDonald's?
Your McDonald's?
Yeah.
There's a watered up bun with a meth.
I have a slab of like
meth.
what they call beef and like meth cheese.
And then the other one just had enough mustard on it to kill a cow.
It's like when Mr. Krabs gives Patrick the spatula. That's basically what happened.
That was the most god awful burger ever. Yeah.
I can't be the only one that goes to the gym and then leaves the gym and goes to McDonald's and also grabs it.
Yeah. Before we go to the next one, tell me your routine that you just had before you came to the podcast.
My routine was, I just went to the gym, did chest and arms mostly, and 4 sets of 10 on 4 different exercises. Ran on the treadmill for like 10 minutes. Left there. Went straight to McDonald's, got 2 cheeseburgers and a 25-ounce of Michelob Ultra.
Thing's pretty big.
Yep. Gotta build those carbs back that you just burned.
Yeah.
It's quality dieting. You take your pre-workout, get really high highs, and then go get your beer to have your lows.
So you weren't here last week.
Yeah.
And we talked about this, and I don't know if it gets snipped to him or not, depending on who listens to it, because me and Sean were talking about it. We were talking about luring in a certain individual with Michelob Ultra.
Oh, yeah.
And you know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
So we may try to do that next season. That would be fun. But we'll go to him.
You're gonna need at least a few to get him in here
I
for
think
sure.
you might need at least a 12 pack.
I'd like to get him in here, but that might be next season.
Yeah, I doubt it.
We'll leave that.
I'm not holding my breath.
We'll leave that as a cliffhanger. To my right, our tomato biscuit hero. We'll get more into that later. Thomas Couch.
How you doing, guys?
Welcome back to the podcast. I know you weren't here last week. You were busy, not on the schedule.
That's right.
Wow, that was harsh.
Somebody didn't put me on the schedule.
Sorry, my bad. It's pretty stressful. We got to look at a lot of different variables when it comes to rotating people out.
Different variables of I don't want him.
No. Just part of the rotation schedule that we're doing.
It is what it is.
The Miata man, not Miata hero. That is this man's title. But welcome back.
Come get it, pretty boy.
I like the pause.
Listen, my cams by themselves make more horsepower than
To be
every
fair,
other
last
house.
time we ran, you were on my bumper pretty good.
Yeah.
Granted, I wasn't in my car, but
The boys are slowly. I'm not gonna say it because me and you are the same. But the boys are slowly getting faster.
dude, I say
Faster, slowly.
you definitely moving. I saw you back there. I was like, man's moving.
And I need to put a catch can on that car really bad.
Yeah, because the cars behind you are catching it.
Yeah, it's making too much
What I need to do is
crankcase pressure.
What I need to do is
It's just pushing oil into the intake.
build like a funnel on the front, like an air dam. And instead of it catching air, it catches your oil and goes straight into my engine.
I mean, that would work.
$1 million idea.
Yeah.
Who needs to buy oil?
Probably
going
gonna
to
get assassinated
Who needs
from
oil
used
when
cars.
I'm dumping Valvoline VR1 20W50 out my exhaust?
Who knows?
Doug is ready to off himself.
Speaking of the man, you were here last week.
They just won't stop talking about 100 horsepower.
What?
It's bothering me.
100 horsepower.
says the man who drove here in an
More than
S2000.
100 horsepower.
Yeah, come on now. You're in a bigger Miata, all right? We all know that story.
You're in a spicy.
I'm just teasing. You guys know I like low horsepower cars, except for Honda Fits.
So you were here last week, Mr. Douglas Smith. You're
Hello.
here today because Dylan, unfortunately, is in Nashville. He was supposed to be on the schedule today, and we were going to try and get him dialed in on the phone, but that's just not possible just yet. There's just no way for that to happen. Maybe later on with a different actual mix amp, which we might be changing soon because we keep getting more buzzing. I'm not going to say why we keep getting more buzzing because that mic, as soon as I got it, the day I was setting everything up,
It started buzzing.
I dropped it. So
We're not going to say why, but we definitely
we
said
might
why.
know why. So we might just have to replace that one and get a bigger mix amp. But Doug, welcome back. I know we had Jody here with us as well last week. We were talking about S2000s and their legacy from the motorsport to the Touge. It was a pretty good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad to have you here for your input on heat cycling tires and not ruining your fresh set of tire rack goodies.
If you buy them from Tire Rack.
Yeah, so, yeah, if you buy them from tire rack.
Yeah, been good. I'm a little on the tired side today, boys.
You? Okay.
Did an 85-hour week, so
85 hours a day. You got soft hands, brother.
yes, all hands. I remember you're part-time. Oh gosh.
So, Doug, what has been your favorite car so far this week?
This week would probably have to be the probably one of two of the Bel Airs I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
Both of
been
those cars were very nice.
I've been getting a lot of Bel Airs lately. I don't know why. It's just that's the cars that keep happening.
Try fives. He's laughing hysterically.
Austin,
I cannot even say what he's laughing at because we would get canceled in about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
He opened his phone up for about 10 seconds and this
Yeah,
happened.
it's pretty bad. We'll just pass that around the room and we'll keep
Oh
talking.
god.
Anyways, if you want to know what Austin is talking about, subscribe to our Patreon for the uncensored version of this podcast.
Yeah. You mean the Patreon that we don't have?
Yeah, coming soon. This will be the only episode in it.
Another one that was here last week, Mr. Wayne, over there. 21.
Oh,
How has
That's
your
good.
week been?
it's been pretty hectic. We
Yeah.
lost a space shuttle last week.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, just if you guys didn't know, I moved to Florida. I work for NASA now.
No, we lost last
What?
week. We lost a MiG,
We did lose a MiG.
and I was pretty sad about that.
I seen that. Yeah,
Can't win 'em all.
that's sad. I don't know if you
We
guys
lost
are
an-
aviation enthusiasts.
We lost an Orca too.
Oh,
God dang it, we
the
lost Orca.
It's all because
Yeah.
of that damn gorilla. We're still feeling the repercussions.
Oh, it's been. Listen, guys, it has been like 7 years now. And this gorilla is still out here terrorizing us.
Yep.
It is.
Should've
That's
killed
what
the
happened.
gorilla.
You know
Kill
what
it.
happened? Off topic a little bit before we get into the tires. 2012, everything was reset.
They had the hard reset, huh?
Mm-hmm.
They held the power button.
Yep.
I could go for another one.
Weren't
I
you
need to get a
guys?
good reset? I need to reset again.
Weren't you guys like 12?
Huh?
Weren't you guys like 12?
I wasn't
2012?
born
No.
yet.
Yeah.
2012,
We were
I was
still,
negative
like-
5.
I was still one of Jody's sperms.
Yeah, we were still like running around, racing each other.
Thought
Yeah.
so.
We were doing like
That took me a second.
the relay.
The good side of
races
him
with
was
potato
splattered on the
sacks.
wall.
Yeah, that's what we were doing.
Ah, okay.
Anyways,
We are tangenting hard.
Sorry.
We
Wow.
have not covered a single thing yet.
wow, that was Yeah, so if you're still listening,
We haven't ran you off
the
yet.
first 7 minutes of this podcast have been nothing but
Trash.
trash, not talking about tires. Yeah, let's get into the
Garbage.
tires.
It has been nothing but our AAA
Speaking of, yeah, I was about to say, speaking of trash, our AAA doors.
Yeah, stop buying show car tires.
Hey, back in 2015, those were the tires to have.
Hey,
2015, more
okay.
like 28,
2015, they weren't bad.
No. In 2008, it was not our AAA doors. It was just our AAAs.
It's the same tire.
You guys
It's
all
just
did.
an R.
You guys didn't even have your licenses back in 2008.
Again,
You're
I
not
wasn't
wrong.
We're not gonna fault you for not being wrong there.
Look, stop bragging about how old you are.
Yeah, I know. That's the other
It's
reason
not a
why.
competition, bud.
That's probably also the reason why I'm the most tired here too.
Oh.
All right, old man, I'm going to make your brain think.
Remember my
Especially
first
starting
part
off.
time.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
The tires that you see the most come to when you go to mount that we're going to develop into this with the
Ooh,
season.
can we take guesses?
I'm going to say an Indy 500.
I'm gonna
Wrong.
say you do a lot of show cars, so it could be in our AAA, but I don't think it is.
Wait. Are we basing my decisions off of when I worked at Firestone, or where I work now, like
Now.
within this year?
Within this
Just
year.
within this year?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna say 660.
Yeah, I was
That's
say
what I'm gonna double down
660.
with,
I'll
660.
say Indy 5s.
Okay.
I'm gonna say either our AAA R's, well,
Ooh, maybe the extreme contacts.
or 660s.
Well, you're most of you are wrong. I would say out of the most tire I get to see,
71 RS.
the most right now is trending would have to be the RE 71 RSs.
You're seeing those even more than the 660 still?
I have been recently.
Good.
Yeah,
Within the
Good.
last 6 to 8 months. Now, the 660s used to dominate that. But also I get a lot of the Apexes too, the 280 treadwears.
Ooh, that's it.
Well,
I was just thinking. I was like, probably 300. I was thinking maybe the ECSs, but
But then I get the regular Beamer that comes in and wants to set a Continental Extreme Contact Sports. You know, I mean, like, or the Michelin Pro 4RSs, you know. I get a lot of in betweens. Like tomorrow, I'm mounting up a set of Contact Sports. Today, I mounted up a set of Contact Sports for a ND Miata. Tomorrow will be for a 2022 BRZ. I've been getting a lot of the new gens in lately.
Seen that.
I really have done a couple corner balancing now for those, just alignments. I mean, it's identical. I know they always talk about like, oh, look at all the upgrades and features they did for the new model. It's the same suspension wise. Like, I mean, same bolts, same sizes you need for your wrenches. It's, to me, it's like, cool, sweet, another one. You know, like, to me, those are kind of like bread and butter cars.
Easy.
Damn duck. But yeah, it's easy money, so to speak. I mean, yeah, there are some ones that might be a pain in my ass, but usually they're rusty, crusty girls or
He
something.
digresses.
Dirt nasty low.
Right.
So, we talked about what is the most common tire that you see. I mean, everything's going to be different depending on where you're at. Right now, popular, I was going to say the 660s. So a lot of people are buying 660s. A lot of people are buying REs.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are buying
B730s.
RS4s.
730s too.
Not really RS4s. I don't get as many RS4s as you expect. I do get a few V730s though.
You know why you don't get RS4s as much as we'd expect?
What is that?
Because they're still about halfway through their tread life, but they're already heat cycled out.
Yeah, that's probably true. You probably still got some
That's
from
true.
2016 there.
Yep, they're still giving their almost corded RS4s to
Had them
Austin over
flipped
there.
and turned around.
hey, I'm half tempted to go throw those back on.
Hey, they're still
They're still alright.
dig them out of the pile.
Yeah, you're corded right now, right?
Almost. I've rotated to the
He's
back
corded.
and I've added. May have overpressurized them on purpose. On the back, so it's not wearing the inside; it's wearing the middle.
You go through tires more than anybody I know.
Hey, this one was because of my alignment and me knocking it out, not because of you.
Yeah, I was gonna say you better
I
not.
will let me clarify. It is because when you
Wah,
drift
wah.
drunk turn 3 at Road Atlanta, weird things happen.
Yeah.
Like
I would imagine so.
Road Atlanta is just hard on tires.
I've never. The
Yeah.
thing is, I've jumped the curb in quite a few times, but never have drift jumped it. So
I was about to say, that was a little...
Well, I'll find out next month again.
Find out next
I don't think my car's gonna go next month.
No,
No, I'm probably just gonna drive Sequoia down.
do what you did at Charlotte. Just get a bum rides with everyone.
Hey, I didn't bump rides for everybody. Just 3 people.
Well, okay.
So,
Man,
I do,
Basically, a
I
ride and
had
drive driver.
2 sessions by myself.
I had no sessions on myself. Every time I had somebody in the car with me. Everybody
wants to ride with the Doug.
Well, everybody wants to see the R. That's what it is. It's not me. It's the car. I always say that. It's the car. Everybody wants to see the car because it's a fun car to drive. And I'm a goofy dude behind the car. Yeah. Well, like a lot of people, like for example, Wade, when he's behind the wheel doing a session, he is all focus, no talk, all focus. He is tunnel vision. Me, I narrate my stupidity. Like I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna hold this one. Let's go, boys.
I won't tell you when we're gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just that's literally what he does, because he was like, when we had that wheel bearing fail, it was a driver front wheel bearing fail at Roto Atlanta 10A last year in the BRZ. He came down and he just matted the brake pedal. It was just like, whoops. I was like, wait a minute.
I gradually looked over at Couch to make sure everything was okay, and then I just put the car over to the left. I mean, we didn't go off or anything, but I was like, we hit the wall.
It's like going into 10A with you at Road Atlanta. You didn't even get a whoops. I got a whoop. That's all I got. It was a whoop.
Yeah, I don't.
Was that the Supra?
Yeah, that was the Supra.
Yeah,
coming
we
in.
were stop.
I was like, that Cadillac was getting closer and closer. I'm like, I don't know, man.
I'm just kind of goofy. I don't know. I like to narrate and have a good time. Like we were. I think it was me and Josh Smith was riding with me at Charlotte, and we got passed by the Super Trofeo, and we were literally just like cheering and giggling at the same time.
Oh, I would too.
All while being wide open throttle around NASCAR 1-2. I actually missed. I didn't even shift to fourth. I banged a rev limiter by accident. It was just, I don't know. It's just when I'm behind the wheel, even on the Dragon, I'm very talkative. Like I like to have conversation with my passenger, and I don't know. I think it helps because it makes them feel a little more comfortable.
It does. It does.
It's like, oh gosh. Oh, it was Randy. So I gave Randy a ride in the Miata at the Dragon. And,
He's probably like, wait a minute.
oh no, for sure. Because he doesn't like riding with people really that much anyway. And so we're allegedly down by the lakes and stuff, allegedly. And we're doing like 65, 70. It's super late at night. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, we could probably slow down a little bit. I'm like, what? And he's like, we could probably slow down. I'm like, I didn't hear you. And I still just put my foot to the floor. We're like at 90 after like, I don't know, 5 minutes of to the floor. And he's like, can we slow down? I'm like, what? I can't hear you. And he's like, you're making me a little nervous. So we get up to like allegedly 110, and down by the lakes, which for my car is about top speed.
About top, yeah.
Yeah, about top speed. I was like, and he's like, can we please slow down? I like reached over and I grabbed his leg. I was, it's okay, baby. And he's like, he went to go grab my hand and I just held his hand. Doing 110 by the lakes.
This was that was the Touge intensifying.
Oh yeah, because he's not used to mountain scene at all, so he was getting real nervous.
So when I asked you about naming off your different tires that you've seen, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about the different ones that we have. I have ruined an old set, and I think this is like how I want to start the base of this podcast. We asked for what the tires were, and then when it comes to like properly understanding your tire, okay? I have ruined at least, I wouldn't say 2 sets, but definitely 1 set of REs because I overpressurized them and I overheated them the first day I got them.
The one thing that helped me out a lot when I bought the REs was making sure when I drove down to Barber to first ever try them out, I made sure that even before the drive, I drove up the mountain and just did a pass. And my first pass through, I made sure not to just like full send, just have a good time, but not, again, full send above the speed limit, allegedly, yada, yada, yada. But that's what kind of broke mine a little bit for me. Like, and you don't really have to do the whole swerving in and out type of situation, especially not in REs. But if you gradually get into it on a brand new set, it's pretty good for it, I'd say.
The whole, swerving thing, that's more along the lines to get the tire hotter than it is to scrub the protective coating off of them.
Yeah, but the only time I see like that kind of scrub is like a burnout box waiting for an FD run.
Yeah.
They're out there doing burnouts and then just full understeering on purpose to scrub them in.
Like the grip is there, but it's not, right? It's
Exactly.
just gradually there for it to modulate heat. And one thing that I'll notice, especially, and I know a lot of people have done this before, is the only reason I overheated these tires back in 2020 when I kept coming to you for REs when you were still at Firestone.
remember.
Is my third set. This is the one I ruined. Third set, I went up there that night, and heat cycled them in. Well, instead of stopping and letting them cool off or just going back home, because
You
I
kept
think it's
sending.
good to just, get up the temperature and go back, which I'll get into that later. I kept running. I did 4 runs.
Oh,
back
yeah.
to back to back
You
to back.
killed them.
And on my third run, I was like, man, something doesn't feel right. But you know what mentality I had? I did the proper procedure on the first and the second ones. When I had my third set, which, COVID, government was paying for tires, so I didn't care.
I think when you
The most useful the government's ever been.
Yeah.
yeah.
I probably had the most unfeeling REs on the planet at that point. Because when I take a turn, it felt hot, right? Because they were hot. But after they cooled off and I'd go back up there, nothing. There was no way or any possible way that tire would build any traction coefficient at all. It's just gone.
Yeah, you're really like, you get out and they're all blue all around the damn sidewalls and stuff like that. I only slightly overheated my right rear so far on the RE71RSs. That was at Charlotte, holding the NASCAR 3.4. Because you're maintaining so much high of a speed, and you're just trying to maintain that corner speed through that corner. And that's the only, like, I've got a little blue ring around it, and it's not even that bad. Like, it doesn't seem to hinder performance or anything like that. And even Fief, I did a rotation on his car today, and he just couldn't stop talking about how awesome they are and how much he can't wait to go to Atlanta next week or next month.
Have a good time.
Oh, he will. Well, especially since he's excited to get to blue, and he's going to start out in blue straight out. He's already got a check ride.
Yep.
Fief.
Oh, yeah, I gave him a check ride.
Yeah. I think we talked about it in another podcast. How proud I was to have a few of our friends do their first track days.
I know.
How well they
immediately
did.
Get into blue.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, some of them did. Some of them
Yeah,
did.
a few of them did get into blue.
Yeah. No, that was so awesome. But yeah, kind of tangent at this point, but
I will say, so that's part of the reason why my tires have not lasted this go around is because I did basically the same thing that Wade did. I took my car up to the gap. It's like, I'm gonna go do it, heat cycle them in a little bit, and then proceeded to just run it and run them because I think that was, what was that? There was something going on that weekend.
It was,
Spring Toga Fest? No, it was way after.
it was
I don't know how long exactly.
weekend before Road Atlanta, right?
Oh yeah.
And then
I don't even know. Maybe
there was
nothing
a
even.
BMW or a
Was it
Subi
invading?
Fest.
Oh yeah, I think I don't know.
Was it invading or super?
There was some rally going on.
There was some
out
rally
there.
going on. Anyway, so I just kept beating on my car because I never learned. And same thing, I didn't even check the pressures in them. I think I set them to 27 cold and said good enough, and sent it, and never checked pressures, never did anything. I did one cruise run in to picture, scout run, of course, hard run back, let it set the overlook for maybe 30 minutes, and then I did like 4 more runs. So they didn't have time to cool off, really. They didn't. I think the next 4 runs I did were just back to back to back to back to back. So I've been running those old RS4s for a while, and I was like, hey, I grip finally. Cool, let's go play.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And and I'm not pointing fingers at you because I've done it, and that's why he's here too. Is not only do you overheat your tires, right? This just so happened to follow with what happened with you. Is you get these really good tires you spend a lot of money on, right? You're starting to feel good. You're getting more confidence in driving. What's your alignment doing, right? So that's a fast way to ruin a set of tires.
It's a very, very.
And I'm sure I know you see it all.
Well, that's why any tire shop, they're always like, oh yeah, free alignment with a set of tires or something of the sort.
Or for free alignment check or something.
Yeah, alignment check, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of people message me most commonly and be like, hey, I just put a set of tires on, want an alignment checked. Some people just know it. I wish more people knew it, but hey, can't win them all.
Yeah,
But,
can't win them all.
You
really
make that
can't.
into a T-shirt.
Yeah.
we need to have a sponsored shirt with that.
We will we'll dive into that. I think I already got some ideas in my head. That'd be pretty funny just to say it so much. With the alignment too, and I don't know if you see this a lot. I know it's. I wish Alex was here, Alex Strana, because he's the one that brought this up to my attention, especially with 200 treadwear. How do you feel about balancing 200 treadwear?
Oh, it's not hard. It's just the same as pretty much any other tire.
How do you feel about after use with the modulation on tires?
Just the only thing you got to do, and especially for people who track, you just got to be really careful as far as making sure you scrape off old rubber, like in the barrels of wheels and stuff like that. I usually use a plastic putty knife because you can't scratch a wheel with plastic. But I usually scrape off, before you scrape off old wheel weights, scrape off old rubber. I mean, like after Barber, after Charlotte, I put my wheels on the balancer, and just because it's easy to have them there, and just scraped off all the old rubber. It's really good for it because, number one, it'll get rid of any small vibration you might be having. Because I mean, right after Barber, I drove home literally for the first 100 miles because I had rubber buildup on not only in the barrels but also on the tread as well, and it just created this shaky shaky feel. Made me question why I was driving back home on 200 treadwears.
It's just because I drive a junky Miata, but you kind of get used to it. You know anything about it.
You do, yeah. I mean, eventually it did wear in. It was fine. But I have considered carrying another set of wheels with me just to drive back home with, just because it'd be a little bit more comfortable.
And I completely understand that too, especially if you have the option. Because, like you said, it's crazy just how much those tiny little marbles that get into your actual wheel can affect your balance. When you go home.
And you'd be scraping it around everywhere.
You're
now,
like, man, something just broke, and you get home and clean it up and take it back down the road. What I do a lot too, which is kind of a forgotten thing because a lot of people just run them, and I guess it's personal preference too. But like the outer coating, REs are really good about picking up on-track marbles and then being so hot and just smushing it back into the tire, right?
Yep.
So I just go through and I just heat up my putty knife.
Yeah,
just,
a little scrapey scrape.
Clean it up.
I personally have never done that or had to do that per se. The other thing I can say is especially after a good track day. Now this doesn't exactly pertain to tires, but if you're gonna do a rotation on your tires after you've had them on for your track day, and you've definitely, if you're front wheel drive, you worn the fronts more than the rears, or vice versa, all wheel drive, etc. Fill up a bucket, soapy water, wash your freaking barrels of your wheels. Holy crap! Like if you've been running track pads and your wheels are black,
they'll be rusty.
Yeah,
they'll be
they
rusty
will
in the
rust.
next, couple hours.
Yeah, they will rust and it will fuse to the barrel, and now you've got a brown barrel.
On top of that, it will also start to pit the powder coating, and
Yes.
actually your powder coating will start to peel off.
And even past that, it'll actually, I've seen, had it happen to me before, brake dust knock wheel balance out
Yeah.
because it just builds up. It
Can't get
takes
anything to
in.
stick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the last time I got the car in and I took the wheels off, I had a bucket of soapy water with a grate at the bottom, and I washed all 4 of the barrels, and there was, I think, 2 out of 4 of the wheels that actually had pitting a little bit in the barrels, and that's a raised gram light. That sucks because that's expensive wheels, but it is what it is. They say pay to play, and that's
Right.
Wheels are a consumable.
They are.
Just like your tires.
Can't have a wheel on forever and it will explode.
I usually buy 1 to 2 wheels a year. And I buy
He
cheap
gutter
wheels.
runs now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a little bit of that, but I buy cheap wheels, and it's they're not so cheap that they crack and come apart,
That
but
they explode when you
that they
jump
explode.
turn
But
3.
I buy cheaper wheels because I track my car, and it's one of those, like Doug said, you pay to play. You just hey, these are a consumable,
Yep.
and I'm gonna bend one every so often, and that's just part of it.
I want everyone to try a track day. Like, I want everybody to be at track days. But I also want everyone to know how much it costs. You know, I mean, like, not only just to pay for the track day, but the 2 to 4 30 seconds you've just scraped off your tires. Or more if you got slicks, obviously. Or how much brake pad you went through, or now you got to change your brake fluid or something of the sort. So, I mean, there is consumables to tracking. But if you're careful and you do service your car prior to a track day event and after a track day event, things will last. So,
when it comes to, diving in to different scenarios that might happen with your tire, one thing I've noticed too is, we brought up the fact of overpressurizing, right?
yeah.
Tire pressures. I know you ask a lot of your customers, where do you want
Yep.
to
Where
set
do you want me to set
right?
it? Yep.
And it
Yep.
could be 32. Most common answer probably 32, 35. Or
Yeah.
that range.
Usually most common in, like, if it's a regular customer with their regular ass all seasons, yada yada yada, I'm just gonna set OEM specs.
Right.
Fine. If it's a customer that's like you two, or you two are maybe a little bit different, but like if I've got a customer and they maybe say they dropped a car off or whatever like that, and they didn't tell me what their pressure they wanted to set to, and they're putting REs on or something like that, I'm gonna put it still at about 35, and I'm gonna specifically tell them when they pick the car up, hey, I set these high, air down. It's so much easier to take a little pin and air chuck and just drop pressure than it is to finding air to air a tire back up. I would rather overinflate something than underinflate something and let them drop it. Like, hell, say you're gonna leave straight off there and go rip on the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Go drive the Dragon on 35 pounds. Once you get to the overlook, drop down to whatever you want.
And that's exactly like my routine that I do.
Mhm.
I like it to be around 35, especially on a new set of 200s.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what type of weather it is, but usually it doesn't affect it too much for my personal opinion on it. 35, do your run, immediately fill as soon as that heat starts to build.
Yep.
Get off of it, pull to the side, check pressures, right? Keep that pressure gauge with you.
Mm-hmm.
Air down, get it hot, right? Get it to operating temp, get it to where it's not greased yet, but close. Cool down, take it back home.
One of the things that I've noticed a lot is you get a lot of, especially younger kids up there, the Gap is a prime example, is you get a lot of kids up there with 300, 460, barely a cheap summer tire, not even extreme performance summer tire or anything. And they get up there and they want to run fast, and they want to run with they want to run with the locals, or they want to run with the two guys with 200 trail wears and the guys who spent money on tires and yada yada yada. And you know where they usually, like, not usually, but
Sometimes these kids end up in the ditch.
yes.
Actually, a lot of them end up in the ditch.
Someone
Yeah.
said ditch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gutter run.
They got me out of ditch. Ditches love Miatas.
Ditch. Be
Yeah,
honest.
and I mean,
love
it's
ditch.
it does suck because, like, you hate to see cars that get tore up or give the Dragon a bad name for that matter, because then you see it enough on Fail of the Dragon and social media. Oh, look at this idiot, went off, yada yada yada. And 90% of the time when they go off, it's because they're on bad tires trying to keep up with the guys who have good tires. Cannot see that enough.
Calling me out right now.
Pretty much calling every stock Fiesta ST owner out right now.
Whoa. No. Logie's fast on a good set of
Logie-
But he
Logie-
doesn't stock either.
That's
It's
true.
just kind of stock.
That's pretty
He
much.
doesn't have
Or
like,
NB Miatas.
all season tires either.
What is up with MB Miatas being the one that get put in dishes more than NAs?
I don't know, because you see a lot more stock NB Miatas. than you do
NBs are
NBs.
cheaper right now, I think. I think.
Oh yeah,
right?
because everyone wants the stupid pop-ups.
Yeah, NBs
They're
are
like,
cheaper.
you know
Coming
what?
from
That
NA.
looks like a Viper. I'm gonna buy it.
Yep.
That looks like a Viper.
and NCs are too new, so their prices are still high.
But NC's a better chassis though.
NB is.
I don't know.
not,
I've
man.
seen some NAs and NBs go for more expensive than NCs like, every once in a while.
I have
The
too.
NC's been kind of junky, but still.
Especially if it's the first gen, like an 06, 07, something like that.
But still, I mean, you're like, man, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now if you get a 12, 13 or something like that, yeah, I'm going to see them go for 12 to 14 to 16, depending on mileage.
Do you mind if I go on a slight side
Yeah, which
tangent
is
for like
dumb.
30 seconds?
That's fun.
30-second side tangent. Just because you have a very nice track-built Miata doesn't mean it's a $30,000 car, okay? I don't care if it's... literally, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I've seen 3 cars.
Bring a trailer.
One of them was just a turbo 1.6 car. Okay, it had coilovers, wheels, and tires. Like basically, if you took my car, slapped a turbo on that son of a gun, and then made it a little prettier, and only a little.
Yeah.
Okay, and he was trying to sell it for $28,000.
Yeah.
Okay, my car, I'll tell everybody, I bought it for $3,000. And yeah, it's not. If I slap the turbo on it, it doesn't magically make it $28,000. Even if I rebuilt the motor completely from the ground up,
And it had whatever.
If I went
factory
through-
compression.
and I changed the entire powertrain, and I rebuilt everything, that car still wouldn't be worth more than $15,000 at most. And that's me being very generous. So
There's a guy. This is to extend his tangent a little bit. There's a guy on an NC page on Facebook that was selling his NC1. It's a 2006 track prepped Miata. It was front bumper swapped to a 2013 or 2014 NC3 with NC3 headlights, and it was 2.5 swapped and whatever else, and he was selling it for $18,000. That's not a terrible
No.
deal. Yes, you can build that car for $18,000, but somebody in the comments said you couldn't replicate this car with $40,000 plus, and I was like, are you out of your mind?
yeah,
You could build 2 of them for that.
yeah. And that's what I'm getting at here is like, I've seen like 3 or 4 NAs over the past month that are trying to go from over $20,000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not spending over $20,000 for an NA unless it has a K swap in it.
We just had a friend,
And that's because K swaps can't be done for less than 10. So it's like the swap alone is 10.
A K swap, what it'd be
Yep.
for $9,500.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at here. And now, granted, that's a killer deal. Like,
Yeah.
I would
it's-
murder
yes,
somebody
it's
for that kind of a
rebuilt
deal.
Title, but
No,
it's
I mean,
still a K swap.
Track cars. So.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
still. But the point is that when you add up, okay, fine, a K swap alone is $10,000. If it's a really nice Miata, $10,000. Okay, so at most, there's no Miata in my mind that should be more than $20,000 to $25,000 at most. And we're talking about the nicest of nice cars.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about like
We're talking,
turnkey,
sub-$50,000.
race ready. You're gonna be you're gonna like if you have the skill, you're gonna be top 5 GLTC in turnkey.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about the nicest of nice, like Marcus's car, nice.
Yeah.
And you're not, you're not talking about NDs either.
No, we're talking about
We're
NAs
talking
and
about
NDs. Okay, that's what we're talking about.
We're
And
talking about
I know
NCs,
the
NDs.
final result of this. Buy C5.
And exactly. At the end of the day, if I'm spending
Nah.
$30,000 on Miata, I'm gonna go buy C5.
No, I'm gonna just go buy an S2000.
No. You know what I'm gonna do? For $30,000, I'll go buy a C6.
Yeah.
You could go buy a base
C6,
model
C6.
C6.
You might-
$30,000, I'm buying 2 S2000s.
Exactly.
Imagine how many REs you could buy with $30,000.
Dude,
How many of
what you're
those you could
doing
buy with
is
$30,000?
Those 2 cams that don't make hog ass cam noise.
I don't,
Rant over. But
yeah, I don't
Cyclist.
need that.
yeah, Cyclist.
Yeah, cyclist.
The amount of money you'd have to spend on New Balances is too much.
I like how we went from starting with Miatas to Corvettes. It just it's always the answer.
It's because the Corvette is the answer. Shut up, Doug.
I will never own one. I don't know why it is.
Buddy, I could put you in a C5 built by Ryan
Drive
Bobby Johnson.
a built C5 and you're going to be like, I don't know, man. It's kind of appealing now.
You guys forget how many pull into my shop. You guys are forgetting how many I've driven. I've driven a ZR1.
Yeah, but
Like-
a C5 ZR1's not that much better than a
C6. I'm talking about like
C6.
C6. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
C6. I'm talking about C6 ZR1s.
Yeah, okay.
I've driven C7 Z06s.
Those F around, for sure.
Oh yeah, it's scary. Like I am legit. Like I've driven. I think the fastest one I've ever driven was like 950. 950 wheel. It was a C7 Z06. It scared the shit out of me. That's way too much power. It just lights the rear tires up. It's just way too much. Way too much.
Oh, yeah. You know why it went the rear tires up, other than on the power? Because it didn't have the right tires on it.
Let me guess that NT
I don't remember.
NT
It's-
555 Gen 2s on it.
It probably had R888s more or
Yeah,
less.
it had R888s.
No, I actually don't remember. I don't remember what it had. I don't know. Now we do have a like a 700. Nah, not 7. More like 600 horsepower TTRS that comes in the shop. That thing's fun because it has all the grip in the world, and it's on REs too.
That's why it has all the grip in the world.
Hey, it's a good transition point with grip. Tires still. When
We're circling back.
sorry, get off the side quest here.
Let's get back to the main quest.
The tires, when it comes to grip, right? That's what you want. You spend all this money on a pretty grippy tire, or what you think is a better performing tire than what you have, which it should be, right? I know it's different for everybody else, but if you get your tires in, and this goes to just the overall point of how it should be, proper tire treatment, do not get your tires in and just throw them outside of your house and let them sit there forever. Like, if you're still waiting a month and a half, dude, bring them inside. Don't let them sit out there. Even in the summertime, that sun just hitting them.
Yeah, so
It's
what
not
that sun
good.
does is that sun actually, it pretty much just bakes them, and it takes all of, like, it when I say bakes them, it broils them. Because, have you got, now, everybody here has seen the old tires that are like 15, that are like 8 years old, 10 years old, and they've got all these cracks and separation patterns in them. That's from the sun. It's called dry rot. Those tires will very likely blow out.
And that's something you don't want when you're
If
going
it's
very,
old
very
like
fast.
that, yeah.
If you're
It's old like
yeah.
that, yes. Even leaving them out in the sun, especially if it's in the middle of the summer and it's all scorching.
And if it's a
hot
newer
like it is
set,
now.
I wouldn't worry too much about it. But like, if you buy the set and you pull them off, like for wintertime, and you don't store them, one, the cold's going to kill them.
Yeah.
Two, they're sitting outside again. So in
Even
the
if you-
short span of 4 to 5 months, when you go to put them back on, they're not going to be the same tire
Yeah.
that you took off.
even if you put them like in a shed, as long as a non-climate controlled shed or storage building, just put them inside where they're not out in the elements.
Yeah, get them out of the direct elements. That's one key factor.
I mean, look at tire shops. They don't store them outside.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
There's a reason.
There's a reason. And if you buy a set of
Kind of want
200s,
stolen.
Yeah, I was about to say.
if you buy a set of 200s and you live up north where it is cold, they're cold too. Bring them inside.
inside.
Like, you're gonna say you kept them on your Bald Eagle C5 machine. A set of
Here we go.
set of beautiful RE71Rs that you maybe did one track day in. They've got plenty of tread, and you let them sit outside with the car cover on it throughout all of winter, and then finally March comes around.
Keep going, but I know.
He just stubbed his toe, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you get them back out in March, thinking, oh yeah, you can go drive it. Oh god, the flat spots.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
you can't see me when I was
holy.
going up and down.
Not only that,
Yeah, he was.
would it be so flat spotted, the rubber would be harder. You would lose grip.
Yeah, it is.
They're not gonna have as much pressure either.
Yeah, I forgot all about flat spotting. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And
And we're
especially,
not talking about from like breaking,
Rattle your
from
teeth
locking
off.
up.
and locking up, flat
just
spotting. No,
your
we're
bank
talking-
account locking up and your car sitting for a
Yeah.
while. So, drive it around.
Yeah.
You know, unless you can't, then pull the damn tires off and put something else on.
Yeah,
Or
put it-
put it on jack stand.
Put it on jack stands, man.
Yeah.
Then HOA comes out and bitches.
Yeah.
What's these jack stands doing here? Where's your tires at, son? Oh, they're inside. Can't move my car. Sorry.
They're in front of the heater.
No, I think we
Drinking
covered
cocoa.
some pretty good points when it comes to tires. I mean, there's all kinds that we can hit too. Do you guys have anything you want to follow up with?
So, we
Well,
talked
this guy's
about a lot
gonna say
about not what to do.
What
Let's-
should you do?
Let's talk. I just want
Tire shine.
Yeah, I want to go over just
No.
like the ideal. What should we be doing? I want to.
Half
I
a
want to
bottle
like
of tire
get to
shine.
that.
Keep up with your pressure to temperature measurements. I know it sounds stupid, but it will pay off in the long run. At least just have a good mindset. It was like, oh, when I first got these, I was running 27 at so-and-so temp. The tire span, the tire life is going the downgrade, correct? So you want to pay attention. It's not going to perform at 27 PSI at a certain temp after it's been heat cycled so many times.
And something else I want to bring up is something I recommend to everybody who does anything track or spirited or honestly, it's just a good habit. Okay, go to Walmart, get you one of these little, notepads that fits in the palm of your hand, throw it in your glove box.
Diary.
Yeah, it's literally your car diary. Write in it what your pressures are. If your pressure's on it, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Write your alignment specs in there. Simple stuff. And every so often, go back and check it. And be like, hey, I was at 27 PSI when it was 85 degrees outside. Because, hey, guess what? When it gets colder outside, you gotta adjust those pressures. Because you can't run. You can't just be like, oh, I set it 27 at
27
80 degrees.
PSI.
Yeah, 27 in the middle of
degrees.
summer, and then it's fall now, and man, all of a sudden, like, go around this corner and its sidewall feels really soft.
Soft and understeer.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
God!
weird.
Speaking of, when those times hit, when you get that first frost of the year, people are lined up outside of Discount Tire,
lights on.
wanting their
Dude,
air
they
pressure
are
done.
like, it's not just outside. No, they are like
To the road.
To Olive Garden.
To Olive
yeah,
Garden.
they're to Olive Garden.
We don't even have an Olive Garden tent. No, I'm just joking.
Hold on.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so funny. They have a whole their own separate lane just for putting air in tires.
Yeah.
And then Firestone, when we were working there, it was literally like every 15 minutes somebody was
Oh, it
pulling
was
up.
every 10 minutes.
Do you put air in my tires? And then they throw you a $1 bill or something like that.
Or you got a single ball hair.
We're like, yeah, sure. I wanted to come out and it was 30 degrees outside
Yes,
to air
I
your
wanted to
tires
come
up.
out when it was 28 degrees outside.
So I can start you a side gig
And
now
rainy.
talking about tires. You're going to start selling little journals when you do
Yeah.
alignments.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
No.
$2 for a little...
$2 for a tire journal.
Yeah.
Tire journal.
Here's your specs, signed by Douglas Smith.
Yeah, no,
Some
not.
stickers. This is opportunity.
TBG Smith.
I'll sell them. I'll stand outside of Eurospec. I won't even be on the property.
There you go.
It's across the street.
I'll be across
Like a
the
lemonade
street.
stand.
I'll be like,
You just be in
you
the
got a
road.
permit for this?
Do you have your business license?
Batman, what are you doing? This ain't Gotham.
Nice. I get a lot of different type of customers in, man. Some people are just like, I don't know, you do it. Like, I get a lot of those too, and you got to educate them. You really do. And it's okay. I like teaching. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. You got to teach people, right? You got to
Yeah.
let people.
Yeah, that's why I keep telling Austin I think I'd be a great instructor for doing it. Same thing Jody said. I was like, they're like, yeah, even if you're not in like red group or anything like that, you'd be a great instructor because you just talk so much. I'm like, thanks. But that's all I got, man.
Yeah, I mean, did pretty good on that.
Yeah.
As far as, I'm trying to think if we missed anything
Tech
particular.
tips. Stay away from tire shine.
God, stop.
Don't come to the track day with your
Yeah,
tire.
Yeah.
If you have tire shine on your car when you come to the track day,
It's
other than
gonna
you
have-
just bought it off the lot, you're
Yeah.
gonna get pointed at and laughed.
Yep. No tire shine. Please, no tire shine. No tire shine.
Even by the guy working the gate, he's gonna be like,
Bro, what are you doing?
turn around, get out of here. Right?
You gotta get a black flag.
You've been black flagged, and I'm the guy here just to make you sign a waiver. Get off my track.
If you roll your tire over, now you're on your tire shine and you spin out. It's your damn fault.
Keep up with tire maintenance when it comes to that. Pull your wheel off every now and then. Like if you do a track day, it's probably good to do like what Doug said anyways. Pull your wheel off, go ahead and get the marbles cleaned up, but pay attention if you've probably picked up something, especially if you've tracked and then drove back.
Nails.
Nails, the
Screws,
tire
yeah.
compound's a little softer immediately coming out off the track, so if anything was there, even on pit road, pit exit, or bleed line, going
Or in
back
the
into the paddock,
It's getting your tire
there could
now.
be something there. There's
Yep.
maintenance trucks that go around. There's people that come in to spectate. You could pick up something a lot easier than you can.
Yep.
And I've seen stupid stuff penetrate tires after they've been super hot. And I think he's got one right in his hand too.
So I did actually want to bring something up though. Let's be realistic here. We all get lazy.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't tell you how many times I've left the track and I didn't clean my wheel for 2 months.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Today
And-
was the first time I washed either of my cars in like 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, my car's definitely gone at least 2 months without being washed. That being said, we all get a little lazy, and we did talk about all the ideal things. Real quick, what are the bare minimums? Bare minimums things you should do.
Yeah.
One thing I will always recommend
Listen to him.
when you walk away or walk to your car. Just take a look at your tires as you walk into work or you know getting gas or whatever. Like while the gas is pumping, just look down, check the tires.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a good once over, just real quick. Takes 2 seconds. You do, like say, if you get gas, check the driver's side. If you go to the store, welcome back to the car, check the passenger side. You know, little stuff. It's bare minimum. Takes 2 seconds at most. Just little. Oh, those look like tires. You know, stuff like that. Bare minimum. Like I said, or if you walk by them and you don't mind looking a little bit like a weirdo, just go over and kick them real good. You know, oh yeah, that one still has air pressure, at least somewhat of something.
It's always good to just monitor it. At least have that mentality that like I've checked my tire at least the past few days.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the past few weeks. If you've not been running hard, just kind of driving around on it, be like, well, I know my tires were okay, but it is good. There's so many times people will drive off, even if you're a car enthusiast or not, people will drive off and be super low. Or like they're after a track day, they air down and they come back home and they start driving again. It's like, man, my car feels weird. These sidewalls are really soft. It's because you air down, and tires, when you air down, they don't build it back up.
Weird enough, I think car guys are the worst for it because they get complacent.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they get complacent, they forget about things because they're like, oh, we do it all the time, it's no big deal, and then they get complacent and don't think about it. So, I mean, I can tell you how many times I've been up to the gap and I'll be like, and some guy's like, oh, I'm just understeering a lot, and they look down and they're literally metal to metal, like they're metal cords showing.
There's straight marks on the wheel.
Yeah, like you drive behind them and you see sparks from their tires, like, and you're like, oh yeah, like obviously they're a car guy, but they weren't paying no attention, and that's where just little things like. Give them a little one. Yeah, just give them a little look as you're walking back inside from getting your fucking Red Bull.
And if you're going to be around the car, for a few minutes, like you're outside or you're in the garage or something, and you're already there looking at your tires, like, oh yeah, these guys are. Check to see how they're wearing.
Yeah, something I do, and I've caught myself doing it to, like, normal cars. Like I do it on my company cars as I'm literally on company cars I do it all the time. Mm-hmm. As I'm walking to get in the car. I'll take my hand and I'll run it across the top of the tire. Yeah. And I do it on the Miata, I do it on the Sequoia, I do it, like I said, company cars. Just, I'll look at it as I'm walking to it, and as I'm walking by the front tire, I'll take my hand, I'll just run across the top of it. Yeah. And if I feel where it's like, if it's cupping or something, I know it's in alignment, I know I gotta rotate, do whatever I need to do. But like, just a simple, grope your tire.
Feel your tire up.
Herbert your tire.
Herbert your tire. Give it a good feel.
I was trying to see if I could find one more thing I could touch up on. I'm probably missing.
I was just thinking, like, complacency. Like, how lazy can you be and still get at least something done?
Yeah, at least, pay attention to what's going on. Yeah. We have a heat gun right here, too. It's probably good to monitor how fast your tires build up heat after so many heat cycles. With that being said, too, heat cycles, your tire's a consumable, right? Heat cycling your tire, like you should, it's still going to wear it down a lot faster, right? You're going to have different feedback in it. You're going to overheat it. You're going to overpressurize it. You need to pay attention to how many heat cycles have been on that tire, or at least how long you've been pushing this tire, and understand that will have consequences later on if you still try to use the tire, which you should feel it on the wheel, right? But if you take a turn, you're like, oh, this is doing great a few months ago. No.
Not anymore, it's not.
Nope.
I actually have one for you. It's pretty damn important.
Don't pick up strangers.
Oh, well.
You guys.
In your heat cycle tires.
Well, here's the other one. Track day stuff. People have different alignments for track days. Mm-hmm. You don't just drive your standard regular alignments to track days.
Definitely daily driving and maximum, like max toe, both go together very well.
Max caster and toe out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, toe out and daily driving go together great.
Anywhere between 2.7 to 3.5 degrees camber. You wear your tires out that way. Whoa, what happened to my tires? I don't know what happened to my tires. You know what happened to your tires? You didn't change up your alignment after your track day.
You done goofed, as we're gonna bring back a 2015 quote.
You done goofed.
You done goofed. Yeah, because I have people who, like, for me out of the gap, for example, I had 2 different people come in from completely out of town, traveled down here, got their alignment set up super aggressive, spent the whole weekend ripping it, And then on Monday, on their way home, they stopped by my shop, and I pulled all that camber out.
And you can do that by buying the Euro spec, buy one get one free alignment,
Or my race package.
Or by the rate, yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing you have to think about too, as far as tire. So, because I mean, I guarantee you, if you've been driving on the highway, turn your wheel full lock to the right or left, take a heat gun, look at the inside versus the outside as far as temperature wise. It's going to be significantly hotter on the inside than the outside. Equals tire wear.
You're going to be significantly hotter.
I am already significantly.
He's already the most fabulous man that can align cars on this side of the
Boys,
Mississippi.
I'm so tired. I'm
Some
like
may even
dying
say
out,
on the side of
man.
the Hoover Dam.
Now I'm dying out. I've been cranking the hours out, man.
Hey, well, I think it was a good way to end the podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Next week, we'll have Little Man in here.
I'm not gonna be here, am I?
No, even smaller.
Even smaller.
Who's smaller than me?
Little Man. I'm going to leave it a cliffhanger. He's going to hear this if he listened this far.
Proceeding to check the schedule.
Check the schedule, you'll see. You'll know what I'm talking about. But I'll give a little bit of a brief. What we're going to be talking about is trailer setups when it comes to hauling and paddock setups. So it's going to be an interesting episode that's not talking
Gave
about
it
too
away
much.
right then.
He's a good person to have
But
on.
yeah.
I think about it. He's taller than me though.
He's a little man.
He's scrawnier. Than
He's a
me,
young
but
man.
He's,
We can
he's
pick
taller
on
than me.
He's a young boy.
Is there anybody in the group that's shorter than me? Other than like Ashley?
No.
Wait, I don't.
think so.
I don't even have a trailer.
Uh,
Kill it with fire, brother.
Kill him. This man's getting too tired.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. And as always, keep it in the past.